What's up, y'all? Countercultural Life coming at you yet once again on this beautiful evening, straight here from the hills of East Tennessee. And Noah is in the hills of West Virginia. The amazing thing that technology is. Just a short time ago, 10 years ago, we could have still done this, but it wouldn't have been as clean, wouldn't have been as crisp. Technology's always advancing. There's always something new. I was in a conversation earlier with a guy that talked about, hey man, I remember when the internet came out, people were scared of it. I remember when people first sent an email, they said they couldn't trust the email. So we're going to talk about technology. And this is the starting point because we are at the precipice of one of the biggest movements in the history of our world, I think. And young Noah and I will get to hopefully see that and experience that and be part of it. We know tomorrow's not promised, so we don't presume. Once again, not a Christian podcast, but we don't presume. But let's talk. We're going to talk about AI, the many facets of AI. We're going to get thoughts on it, the thoughts between generations, between Noah's generation and my generation, and just the thoughts overall. We're going to do a few episodes on this because, like I said, we're at the precipice of what I think is going to be one of the biggest moves in the history of the world that we've ever seen. I've heard it compared to the Industrial Revolution times 10. Matter of fact, I started an AI conversation when I was briefing some leaders about a month ago. I walked into the room and I said, everybody kind of knew what AI was, but they didn't fully understand where we were as far as AI and what it could be. And I said, picture all of us right now in a field in Iowa, walking out into the middle of the field and there's a tractor there. And we don't know what it is. We don't know really what it does. We just hear it does amazing things, but we're not really 100% sure if we can trust it. I got to get on this thing. That means I've got to risk life and limb to sit on top of it. What does it do? I don't fully understand. My cows work just fine. My mule, my oxen, they work just fine. I can plow the field. I can get it done. It takes me a certain amount of time. I'm used to it. I understand it, but there's this contraption sitting there, and that's kind of where we are right now with a lot of people. There's this thing called artificial intelligence. That's the blanket thing that we'll call it. Chatbots, artificial intelligence, platforms, whatever you want to call it. We're in this space, and it's doing lots of things. I think Noah's going to talk about how much it sucks for creativity. I think Noah probably mentioned that. And I was in the barber shop today, fresh cut for me, fresh cut for Noah. Noah's got his hat on. You can't see his fresh cut. We both got fresh cuts. I was in the barber shop today. They were playing this. They have a TV in the barber shop. They were playing this awesome song. Fantastic song. Bluesy, just such a vibe, just such an awesome vibe. And there was a guy sitting in the other chair and he's nodding to it. He's like, man, what is this? And me and the other barber kind of look up. I'm sitting in the chair waiting to get cut. The barber that's cutting this other dude, he looks up and we were both almost simultaneously like, dude, that's AI. This dude's like, there's no way that's AI. So he said, look it up. Can you find it? And of course he couldn't find it because it was artificially generated music. But it was the video. It was the people singing on the video. What to look for in AI, you kind of tell automatically what it is. But this guy didn't know that. And his next comment was kind of where we're at. He goes, man, he said, that's really good. He goes, but that's scary how realistic that is if you don't know what you're looking at. And I was like, yep. And that's where we are. So going to talk a little bit about AI. I had the honor of leading a discussion panel attended by about 200 people today. We had 5 panelists and I was a moderator along with another person that was moderating. And we talked about how people are using AI right now and how they're using it, the governance aspects of it, how they're measuring. We talked a lot about it, and it led me to come to a further realization that this is the Wild West right now in regards to AI. Nobody really knows what to do with it. There is really no governance. There's really no a plan. There's not a lot of a plan. So we're going to talk a lot about that as we get into it. We're not going to talk about it this episode, but we are going to talk about it from the religious perspective of it. And uh, Pope Leo brought out his magnificent humanity document, which was, no, it's encyclical, right? It's his encyclical, his first encyclical. And he talks, and it's all about AI. So we'll get to that in an episode. That in itself is 42,000 words. We don't have time to cover a 42,000 word document in this episode, but those are my thoughts on it. Initial thoughts. AI. Here we are. Precipice. Industrial Revolution times 10. The Terminators are coming. All the different stuff. Oh, I was leading an event yesterday. Different event yesterday. We're talking about processes, and I mentioned it wasn't a conversation about AI at all. It was a room full of leaders. We're talking about processes and how contracts are built. And I simply made the comment, have you considered AI yet? The next comment that came out of the guy's mouth was, no, I've seen how Terminator 2 ends. So you have that disparity. You have people that are 100% trying to figure it out, and you have people that aren't touching it. Noah, where do you fall on this spectrum? Behind it, 100%, scared of it, 100%. Where are you on the spectrum?
Well, I've only seen Terminator 1.
The
So
movie guy's only seen Terminator 1. I don't know if
I
I should be
just watched
disappointed or.
it like a couple weeks ago. I hadn't, it was
Wow.
on my list for this year that I've talked about
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
Um, anyway, I'm becoming a little bit skeptical on if it can even reach that level because of how expensive it is, how like cannibalistic it has become already.
What
There's
do you mean? What do you
literally
mean by
not
that?
enough.
Break that down
I'll
for the dumb people. What's
There's
cannibalistic?
literally not enough data on Earth for AI to keep training on. So it is now training on itself,
Hmm.
which like if you think about you're talking about, you can kind of tell it's AI, right?
Yeah,
That's and it's actually and so that's something that as it keeps going, like if you stick something into an AI and say make this look like something and you do that over and over and over again, you're gonna get to a place where it's unrecognizable from the original image. And the question is becoming, first of all, are we going to have enough money to get to that place? Because companies are running out of cash to burn on AI projects. Companies like Microsoft, companies like Facebook, the only really company that is they have to burn cash. Even Google, who's probably the most successful. I mean, uh, OpenAI is kind of nothing. Like they aren't really profitable at all. They're burning money. Claude is the most profitable or was. I don't know how the government contract thing worked out and all that. So, um, I guess that where I'm at is I use it weekly for mundane, non-creative tasks. The best example I can use is using Gemini for Google Ads campaigns and getting keywords and negative keywords. It is an amazing tool for that. But I just generally avoid it for anything remotely creative, including like writing emails. I use the like AI editing stuff in Gmail, but
yeah,
like even that is just not even uh in rebellion, but just because I don't care enough to fool with it. And I think that it's a condemnation of uh not intelligence, but it's like a condemnation of uh your own will to do things if you are just like a normal human with a normal workload and you are converting a lot of your daily tasks to AI. It just feels like that's not going to end well for you mentally, even as we have studies start to come out about AI usage correlating with your brain usage going down and how that's not good for you. Even I mean, pre-AI phone things, like as we've gotten more and more dependent on technology, and I'm not independent of that. I'm very tied in with technology and how it works, and um, I feel like dealing with the effects, the negative effects of that on my life. So to kind of sum up my feelings on it, I'm really skeptical if it's even going to happen. Not that I'm not prepared for it if it does happen. My into the world cultural touchstone is The Matrix, not Terminator. So that's what
Mm,
I think of as like us ending up on the Nebuchadnezzar, right?
yep.
Or yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah. And so
Yeah, no,
anyway,
it's interesting. So recent stories as of, man, when did that happen? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago. Commencement speech. Arizona. Speaker, I don't remember who the speaker was booed almost off the stage. They finished their speech.
bunch of them.
Also, Middle Tennessee State, another one, I believe was Middle Tennessee State commencement speaker almost booed off of the stage. So I've had to start digging into that, and it's very interesting because the people that were booing these guys off the stage would be considered digital natives. Like you've never not had a device in your hand. You've never not understood internet. You've never not. I always try to explain football to my wife. Like when I'm explaining football, I'm like, I can't remember when I didn't know what a quarterback was. I can't remember when I didn't know what every position on the football team is. That's kind of like your generation doesn't know when you didn't remember internet. So it's like all of that stuff, and it's these same people that would be digital natives that are now booing these guys off the stage. And I think it has a lot to do with you've just spent $100,000, $150,000 on a degree that you're basically being told may not be
Which
worth
is
anything.
also just freaking wrong time, wrong place. Like,
Right,
can you
right,
do
right.
you remember? Do you remember? I think it was last year. Do you remember Harrison Butker, his commencement speech that went super viral? Um, do you know what I'm talking about? At
Yeah, yeah.
uh, it was some Christian university, okay, and his
Political
commencement
speech.
speech
Yeah,
was about how women. It was like about how women should view like having a time like being at home as a career or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And it wasn't super well spoken, but at the same time, even if you and I might generally agree with that should be an option and should like that's not a bad thing to want and strive after. At the same
Yeah.
time, you don't say it at a college commencement speech because that's clearly not what they've chosen. So it's
Right,
just
right,
like,
right.
and so I'm seeing a lot of that again in this new fad of talking about AI at commencement speeches in order to I don't even know why, but it's like, yeah, of course you're gonna get booed. Like I mean, and I'll tell you, like it's so severe. I'm not even gonna speak for my whole generation because I think I'm probably on the more lenient side. If somebody has an AI logo, I will not go there.
Really.
Almost without exception.
How can you tell?
You can tell.
And that's another
and
thing.
and
It's
eventually you won't be able to tell. But I just think that it's like if you, especially knowing what I know, okay, and I'll pull back the fourth wall real quick, okay. Our YouTube thumbnail every week was made from a template in Canva that I edited, put some pictures in. I used the AI background remover every time, and it's a very very low amount of effort that I go to for that. But I use my brain and I go to that effort and I think of how I want to position everything. And I think it looks pretty good. Okay.
yeah,
If you, and this is really it, if you have an AI logo that I can tell is AI and looks like crap, why should I trust your business?
that's true. 100%.
And that's really
And
where it comes down to.
you point out an interesting thing because if we think about it, like people are really good at spotting fakeness. You can spot it in people, you can spot it in businesses, you can spot it in we're very good at spotting inauthenticity is what people say. So fakeness. So yeah, when you just said it like that, that kind of hit kind of clued me in a little bit. I would say hit a nerve, didn't hit a nerve. It kind of clued me in like, yeah, that's why. You can tell almost on like today, once we highlighted the people on the screen that were singing, once you saw it and you know what to look for, you automatically know it's AI.
You can tell just by
And
listening to AI music.
Yeah. And it's
but
that's where we're
not
at though.
everybody can.
So when there's AI music, I was thinking about this. Like there's no soul behind it. Like when there's art, there's no soul behind it. And I heard a podcast today by Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, and John Lennox. John Lennox. If you do not know who John Lennox is, go look up John Lennox. That dude is brilliant. Like 14 PhDs, mathematician, a brilliant Christian apologist. Once again, not a Christian podcast. Brilliant. And he had some great comments on AI is creating, what did he say? We're creating AI in man's image. He goes, I don't ever want anything that's created in man's image. He goes, because it's our knowledge, it's our understanding that is feeding these machines, as Noah said, cannibalistic nature of just feeding and feeding and feeding. And now it's cannibalized, it's eating stuff that's already eaten. And man, we're going to trust that, you know. I think there's a space for it in human. I think in humanity there's a great space for AI. I think it does enable us to free up some of our time if we're going to truly use it correctly. It makes stuff easier, processes. You know, Noah mentioned emails, reports, stuff like that. You can do stuff easier. It saves me great amounts of time. However, we have to be very careful because I think it could be great for that to create more time to spend with people. That's key. But the problem that I've already run into is I've gotten so proficient at certain aspects of AI that now I use that space to do other stuff. And I need to be focused on people. So that's an accountability factor for me. What are we going to say? No.
I was gonna say, or have more time to be creative. And
Yeah.
it's just like I don't understand, and this is coming from a genuine place of like I don't understand like the feeling that I get releasing a song, okay? After putting so much hard work into it, being emotionally vulnerable because a lot of the songs I've released are very emotionally vulnerable. Going to all that effort to record it, produce it, edit it, publish it. The feeling that I get, right, is worth it all. But I cannot understand how you would get that feeling from there is a person at our church releasing a song that is based on one of the sermons that the lyrics were written by AI and the song was created by AI and everybody loves it. And it just drives me a little crazy because I'm like, you didn't do anything. Like, you literally did nothing. You took one line from a sermon, you had AI write it, you had AI record it, and then I believe that he hired people online to record the AI recording, and I'm pretty sure they were AI, just better. And
Yep.
it's like to an end, if that makes you happy, then fine. But it's also like, you haven't done anything. Like, you haven't actually done anything. And I'm worried. The reason that I say this, and it's just out of a genuine place, is that if we have kids growing up, if my daughter grows up thinking that that is the way to happiness, like, even we think about everything happening right now with the fallout of the social media generation, my generation, that are all, not all, but like, there's a giant chunk of older Gen Z trying to break free from their phone addiction and a whole other conversation we can have about whose fault it is because I'm sick of us getting the blame for it. But um I like, is this not gonna be that but worse? Like, what could possibly, and I mean, we haven't even talked about like chatbots like as friends yet
Yeah.
and how that is going to affect people.
Yeah. I think we're going to have that conversation on a later episode because I've studied it out a little bit and it's scary. I mean, there's people already trying to marry their chatbot avatars or whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on already, and it's just going to get deeper and it's just going to get crazier. I think, and I think you need to have a great moral foundation and a great moral center, if you will, to be able to navigate this next space of humanity because it's going to get even crazier. I think there's a lot of good that could happen. I think there's also a lot of bad that could happen. And I'm not a doomer. I don't have a P doom number, which in the AI world that's kind of your, they call it your percentage of doom that you think is the AI is going to bring upon the world. There's a P doom number. There's lots of doomers out there. I think that I would say there's about a 20% chance something really bad happens. Um, Outside of that, I don't. I'm not a P doomer, so that's all I can say. But I think there's a lot of stuff to. We need to pay attention. That's my big thing. Is my big thing is awareness for people. Like I don't want people to be caught flat-footed on anything. And I think there is a contingent of people. It's hard. When I asked you where you were on the spectrum, it's a weird spectrum because you do have guys that are like 100% trying to figure it out. I'm one of those guys on the 100%. And I don't think you're on the Terminators are coming. You're probably in the middle. Like you're kind of a wait and see guy, but you know, I kind of that's what I get the vibe that I get from you. You're kind of like a wait and see guy. But
Yeah,
there's
but
not a
like,
lot
but
of you.
enough, know enough to. I disagree. I think that it's mostly me. Like, or that it's mostly people that are like, I I genuinely think it's mostly people that are like, I don't like it. I use it every once in a while, but when I see it, it bothers me. Like
Mm.
something deep in my spirit is bothered by it. And I'm saying
Ooh,
I'm speaking for people my age. I think
yeah.
that that is the majority of people are generally anti AI to a fault at times. That's where I would not be is like the people that are like so anti AI, like, but that we because we've talked about in the past, and this is maybe diving a little bit too deep, but like we've talked about in the past, me saying like I think that my generation is not going to raise iPad kids. I think we like saw like the Gen Alpha, like the 12-year-olds now, 12 to 16, like those how cooked they are. I mean, they're just cooked between COVID and tablets and everything else. They're obliterated. I think we might as well have just lost a whole generation. It's going to take a miracle to get them back
That's
from
crazy. That
everything.
is a
And
big statement. Well, it's a whole episode right there. It's a whole
anyway,
episode in
but
one
I just
statement.
think that like people my, and I'm not saying like, cause I'm saying this out of people my age, but we got through it, I guess, a little bit. But a lot of people my age are cooked, are absolutely cooked as well. So it's like the ones of us that can see how cooked we are trying to fight back against it. I just don't know if the like generation in between my generation and our kids, if that like 10 to 20-year-old range right now can really have can really see. I mean, COVID was bad for them. So
Yeah.
worse even than but anyway, so I think that we're gonna push back against it though. And eventually, and people say, I mean, eventually the generation that is mostly using AI for their day-to-day and image generation and everything, they're going to die. Like at some point, there is going to be a generation like this just that happens. There's generations eventually pass on. And so once people my age get into power, I think that there's gonna be a big pushback against it. So I guess instead of wait and see, it's more like the attitude seems there. So no matter what happens, I think that and unless it is literally a Terminator type, they have cognizance. Like they if it's what is it? What is it? Singularity? Is that what it's called?
Sentience.
Sentience. I thought there was
Sentience
like
like
a I thought
oh,
there
the
was like a word.
singularity.
Yeah.
The singularity, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
And
unless
it all
that happens, I do not think that we're gonna let it be cooked.
yeah. I think I think it's very interesting. I've never looked at it like you just did. We'll close it on this because that's a whole episode in itself. You said a whole generation is cooked, and I have so many
Not all
thoughts
of
because I'm
them,
like,
but I mean, I don't think anyone that's watching the kids that are in high school right now is like they're okay.
yeah, man. And could it get worse? Could it get better? We don't know. So let's just keep paying attention. Let's keep having the conversation. I look forward to this conversation. I've got I have to get more people involved in it. I got some friends that are big proponents of it, and I have some friends that are very against it. So, all right, Countercultural Life Podcast, doing stuff differently, making sure we're keeping the four areas healthy spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. I could just talk about the four areas and how they are already um, coming into play with AI. So that's crazy. It's crazy. Sermons from ChatGPT, mental in the mental space. ChatGPT and Gemini are psychologists now. I mean, it's crazy. A lot of stuff happened. Anyway, we'll get into that later. Countercultural Life Podcast. Keep your four areas healthy: spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. Stay healthy. Be healthy. We will see y'all next time. We are out.